Well, there has been, I mean, being a woman of color, and especially in this country, has been a lot of like suppression, oppression, in many forms. If you are a woman, you also understand that on any level of like what would bother you about that. And so, given my background and given like with religion and stuff like that, there was always this idea that I was I was just a mere ant in the process of, you know, this bigger picture that was happening. And while that may be true to some degree, in the macrocosm, we can go into the micro and say, actually, I'm a pretty big player. So are you. And we are these fractals and or fragments of the perspective of the universe experiencing itself through us. So while it may seem like we are ant-like, we're still a whole perspective that the universe decided to create us to experience that through. So every experience matters, like big time. So there was this kind of realization to myself, especially when it comes to like imposter syndrome and all that kind of stuff of like, what do I have to say? Or why would someone listen to me? Or, those kind of things. Me essentially embracing the effects that I was having on people. And like if I continue to stay small, that my message or my purpose of why I'm here would not be fulfilled. And so I couldn't, rightfully so, as I was having that awakening process, I was like, wow, like it's really doing me and the world the biggest disservice by me not claiming every part of who I am. And this idea, like, I mean, we're all conditioned to do that, right? Well, I'm not that good at this. If you're not perfect at it, then you can't do it. Like if you're like, we stopped thinking that we could just do things because they were fun instead of we have to think about why we can make money from them or, whatever. So I remember the whole idea even behind my podcast, like everybody's got a podcast. Who's going to listen to me? I had like at least 15 people tell me in the same week, you should start a podcast. Something about your voice. You sound like you should be on radio. And
Mhm.
I remember just thinking that, like, but who's going to listen to me? So imagine if I had not done that. And I was still looking for another path. I knew there was something bigger for me. And I thought, well, maybe that's arrogant for me to think that there's something bigger for me or whatever. Like, who am I to think? And that phrase, who am I to think? Who am I to be? Like, shut that shit down right now because it is you externalizing your worth according to who you find, your own perception of who you find big or small or whatever. Who am I to think that I can blah 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 based on your own perception? However, the words that you have to speak or the thing that you have to do in the world could save someone's life. It could change their whole perspective. You could just you and your fractal of the way that the universe sees the world can appeal to somebody that creates a ripple effect that you would not even be privy to, but it was a part of your purpose and your contract to be here. And so for me, I felt like, gosh, if I've had 15 people come up to me and tell me this, the universe is trying to get my attention about something. Okay, I don't even listen to podcasts. Like, how would I even begin to start this? How does someone talk for 20 minutes? I found out it's not that hard. But like, as you're channeling, especially, like there was just this like there was definitely a part of me that woke up to like it's bigger than what I can see. So let me stop my bullshit and stop my imposter syndrome and stop playing small and get into what that looks like. It doesn't mean you need to be arrogant. It doesn't mean you need to be the best. You just need to do whatever it is and lean into whatever brings you joy. Because for me, doing this kind of stuff, I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I didn't know I would love it. It's back to that quote that I was talking about. Like I had no idea this would be my dream job until I started doing it. And I was like, oh shit, here it is. So that aspect of self-discovery and saying like, okay, it is, we all have this idea that you have, like, especially in America, you have to be the best at something to be worthy to do it. And that's just not true because like a lot of the most like watch a child play basketball. Like one of my friends, their kid Grayson, he's like, I'm Michael Jordan. He loves to shoot the thing. That brings him so much joy. If he had come with the idea, if he had parents that were like, you're not very good at it, you should never play basketball, or you have a teacher that's like, oh, you should never write, you're not good at it. Like the whole deal, you could be essentially you're deferring someone else's authority onto the gifts that you have to bring to the world and the things that bring you happiness.
Mhm.
So fuck that person. You know what I mean? Like, you need to follow your own intuition about what that looks like, because you could, in fact, be the whole damn vehicle. You could drive. You're not just small part of it. You're not a spark plug. Like, you could be
Mhm.
the whole thing, and that means you can go places. You can go to big places. You can do big things. But do they have to be big to be worthy? No. Like, say your podcast is only heard by 30 people. You might affect those 30 people's lives in such a huge way that you'll never, ever, ever know about. But by doing your joy and by being in that space, like, you are changing the world. By
Yeah.
your existence here, you are changing the world. So you're not meant to stay small. You're not meant to just be, yes, in the macrocosm of it, like, we are all these little cogs that are kind of playing together. But on this earth plane, like, I'm going to drive.
Mhm.